motivation. Jonas Andrew-Phillip tells me avoid desperation. There's still facts to rebuild a nation, to make us strong. Enhance a bond full of brothers and sisters. Tell the future we can build whatever we wish to. Put your mind on the map, eyes on the prize. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe.
Hello Kings and Queens, the Wastemantle winner Jonas Andrew-Phillip here today, and today we've got yet another episode of the Let's Talk Facts podcast, and we got a G. He's in his clothing merch already. He's in want to stand out LDN already. Please introduce yourself for us, please, because you're the only man that can make a pink tracksuit work. So let the people know who you are.
Listen, Jonas, that's probably the nicest introduction I've ever got in my life. Thank you, Jonas. My name is Austin. I run an award-winning fashion brand called Corners Out London. I'm a student as well and a semi-pro footballer, so a lot going on. And I'm also a bookworm. I love books, so I've just launched my book newsletter. And I'm sure, hopefully, that we'll get into that later on there.
Definitely. And I actually met Austin recently. We were on Shola, who actually was on this podcast a few episodes ago. We were on her podcast with Jamila on Youth Unlocked. And when I was speaking to Austin and hearing him speak, I said to myself, nah, I got to get this guy on the podcast and I got to connect with him. And then obviously, because I've been watching your content, all the stuff you post is amazing. And you're not even done yet because your clothing brand's obviously blowing up and it's doing sick. But now you're getting your personal brand to another level too. So I don't think the people are ready for what you got up your locker.
I'm just warming up, bro. Like, honestly, I haven't even got started yet, man. Just warming up, bro.
Warming up, bro. But just to get into this, the first question I have for you is, if somebody told you 10 years ago that you would be doing all the amazing work that you're doing right now, what would you say to them?
It's a good question. Like, it's techie. Like, in terms of doing good things, I always, like, even as a young kid, like, always had good self-belief in myself. Yeah, so if I'm being honest, I always, like, from a kid, I always felt that there's something special about me. So I always had the self-belief that I will be going to do great things. But in terms of clothing, in terms of a fashion brand, never. Like, I've always been into my fashion, but if I'm being completely honest, I thought I was gonna be a footballer. Like, you know, a lot of young people growing up in London, I literally, like, my dream was to become a professional footballer, and it wasn't just out of nothing. I was quite good. Like, I got scouted for a few professional football clubs. Like, if you look over there, I've got a lot, like a trophy cabinet. I've got about 30 trophies just based on football. So, like, if I'm being honest, 10 years ago today, 11 years old, I thought I'd be a professional footballer. But in terms of doing good things, you know, being myself, that's something that's always carried with me, something I've always had. So I always thought we're doing something good, something all right. But if I'm being honest, I thought right now I'm probably playing professional football.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Because even me, I can't lie, in primary school, and people are going to say primary school doesn't count, but I was a bit of a baller in primary school. I can't lie. I was low-key a baller, and people knew this. People knew I was a baller. But for me, I wanted to be a basketball player from about year 9 to 11.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people suffer from self-doubt, but I never had it because I've had different life experiences to most young people. So for me, I was like, man, I'm going to the league. I'm going to be in the NBA. So it's cool. It's cool. And I was still doing other stuff in my life. But I fully believe that as a youth, and I'm not saying nobody from the UK can get to the NBA because it's happened. It is difficult, but the odds are obviously against us. But I still said to myself, I am going to get to the NBA. And football is hard to get into too, as we both know, and people can do it. But you had that same thing where you were like, okay, it may be tough, but who said I can't do it? Who said Austin can't be a professional footballer?
Yeah.
You have all those trophies on your wall as well. So it shows that you were good. And I want to ask you now, like, just leading on from that, why do you think a lot of people suffer from self-doubt?
Wait, quickly, just before I go into that, I feel like it's an important note that I just thought of the other day. I'm going to answer the question in 2 seconds, but I feel like one thing that I thought is important is the fact that a lot of the things that you want to do when you're younger, it's not actually what your purpose is or what you really want to do. Like, for example, like, if I'm being honest now, like, I can openly admit now, if you give me 2 options, entrepreneurship, footballer, I'll choose entrepreneurship all day, you know what I'm saying? So I just want it to be clear, like, in the day, it's all good to have dreams, but don't let those dreams neglect you from potentially going down other avenues. But in the day, like, you don't know what you want to do until you try these things. And in the day, if I don't go down the entrepreneurship route, I would never know how much I enjoy it, how much I want to be it. And for me, somebody who didn't want to do anything other than football, to now say that I'm actually living my dream life of, you know, being an entrepreneur, like, that's amazing. So my lesson to everybody out there, literally just like, always taste new things, try new things, and what you feel like might be your path might just not be your path. It might be somewhere else, might be more fruitful. But to answer your original question about self-doubt, Whew, that's a mouthful. So why do people you feel like have self-doubt? I feel like nobody's born with self-doubt. Like if you look at kids are the biggest dreamers. Like they're all saying, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a footballer. Like, myself, you're gonna be a basketballer, I want to be an astronaut. Like self-doubt, I feel like something that people put on you. That's what society puts on you. Because a lot of people unfortunately are insecure. So as you go through life, self-doubt is something that people put on you. And it's about building that tough armor and having self-awareness as a key, self-awareness to know that these people don't know me better than I know myself. You know what I'm saying? So I thought as a self-doubt literally comes, it's something that's instilled in you from society because a lot of people are insecure and they put insecurities on other people. So you're not born with self-doubt, it's something that you've been taught to have and you can unteach yourself with a lot of hard work.
Word. And do you think it's self-doubt as in society? Do you think it's mainly school, social media, or people's parents?
Everything. Like I think it's a whole lot. School is definitely a big part to play because if you think about it, we're in school from the ages of what 4 years old to 18, and that's what 6 hours a day. So to say that schools have an impact is definitely not true. Even if you look at school, like me, I feel like my kind of character in school, I always felt like I was a lot. I feel like I got hard on other people based on my character because I was outgoing, because I believed in myself, because I was a bit more confident, because I really cared about others. I feel like I had it harder. Like, I thought teachers were harsh on me. I feel like so teachers were trying to change me into being like everybody else. That makes sense. Like I feel like school is terrible for self-awareness, man. Like saying to my friend the other day, we're literally taught to dress the same, to act the same, to do anything the same. I'm saying like any dreams that you might have, any goals, they told you that you can't do it, or whatever. Like school is terrible self-awareness and I feel that's the reason why a lot of people don't know what they want to do or they have self-doubt because school eliminates so much self-awareness because all told to act a certain way, act a certain way. Like even in school, like I'm dyslexic. Like I didn't realize I was dyslexic until I was 19 years old. Yeah, I still had to do the same exams as everybody else, even though like it was clear that I was struggling in certain avenues or I wasn't like everybody was in other avenues, but the fact that we still had the same rigid system for every single person, like I think it's ludicrous to think that every single person can sit the exact same exam and it's fair. Like everyone's got their own unique traits, their own unique skills. I feel like school needs to give more to that. Like if somebody's trying to art, let them be an artist, let them read a book about art. Don't just tell them you got to do this, you got to be a certain type of route. Let them express themselves, let them be free. Because there's so many, life is so abundant, man, and I feel like school is just terrible for self-awareness.
That's interesting. And even I think it even goes down to the fact that we're not given actual, and I know to this day, I would say me as in 2021 Jonas, 19 years old, I would say stuff like this, oh, but you go out and get this stuff yourself, you go and learn it yourself, but that's because I've got a different mentality. But when I was in school, I wasn't gonna go out and think what other ways can I revise which suit me more as a person and the way I learn. Because school legit teaches you. I remember certain lessons in year 11, copying from textbooks. That's what we were doing, copying from textbooks. Some lessons we watched movies, but that was history. But in history, you have to watch movies because you're not gonna remember all the dates and everything from a textbook. The majority of the time, it is a textbook you learn from, but school doesn't make you think, why can't you? Sometimes once in a while you do a presentation, but that's once in a blue moon you do a presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you can write your own story and stuff, but that's mainly English once in a while as well. And I'm not saying this to hate on the school system or anything like that. I work in the school system. And even my teacher from my secondary school, me and him have a really good relationship to this day. I'm not hating on the school system, but I'm just saying that we can't control, and this is to the young people out there watching, even the adults as well, because some of you may be in uni right now and there's nothing wrong with that. It's try to actually make yourself better than you already was, because we've all got potential to a certain level, but that doesn't mean you can't unlock it. There's so many people out there right now that are adults, Austin, and they could have done they could have done what we were doing at our age, but they didn't unlock that potential. And we may have got lucky with the fact that we were able to do it at a young age. We may have actually got lucky with that, but they weren't. So I feel that people actually do have potential to be great, but some people are different. So even in the book I'm currently reading, I learned that, and this was difficult for me because when have you ever had the job before? Like 9 to 5?
I worked as a bartender when I was 18, 19.
There were people where you were working ever saying stuff like, oh, I hate this job, I can't wait to go, the pay's not enough?
Of course.
And I used to say to that when I was working, I used to say to them, start a business. And then when they would say, oh no, man, I was just thinking, oh, you're just lazy, man. But it's because and I think I said this on Clubhouse, if you remember, I said a lot of the personal development gurus act like people are average if they do a 9 to 5, and really, isn't for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. But honestly, I couldn't agree more with anything you're saying, man. Like, in the day, like, I'm not type of school system. I think it's great. Like, in the day, like, I've learned to read and write. Like, the education system in England is one of the best in the world. There's no denying that. But at the same time, you can't say that there isn't improvements being made. That's just facts. That's the reality of it. And I feel like the schools have a part to play in, hampering self-awareness. Like, one example I always give is, you obviously see me, I've read, 50 books since 2019, 2020. But in school, I hate reading. Like, I read my first book, I finished my first book in 2019. And that was because school, they told you read. I don't know, you might not have had this, but I had this where started that you come in, you got to read for 15 minutes. They don't tell you what to read. They don't tell you what you might enjoy reading. They just told you to read. Like, what do you mean that? And that's why a lot of people don't see the value in reading, because they were forced to read anything. Whereas what they should have done, they should be like, okay, cool. Erica, you like art. Here's a great book about art. Jonas, you like entrepreneurship. Here's a book about entrepreneurship. If I was given books about entrepreneurship in school, I would have loved reading. I feel like that's the issue with the school system in terms of self-awareness. Like, even the teachers are a bit suffer from it as well. I'm the type of guy, I'm a bit cheeky. Like, I'm the type of guy that asks teachers the cheeky questions. So I remember I was talking to my head of year one time, and he came in the classroom. I can't remember what happened, but the conversation was, but I remember just asking him randomly in front of the whole class, like, Miss Williams, what's your dream then? Like, what's your dream job? Like, what was your dream? Was it being a teacher? And he said no. He said that no, it was actually, in fact, he wanted to be a director, film director. And I was like, it's not too late. I was like, yeah, like, whatever, like, yeah, right. So even like the teachers are suffering from, like, not a bit of resentment, a bit of regret from their dreams. And obviously, if a teacher's suffering from resentment and regret, how do you think that's going to transpire into their students when their students say they want to achieve something? Yeah, don't you think that subconsciously they attack that student for thinking big as well, because they themselves are resentful or regretful? So don't you think that would then transfer into students? So it's like along the whole system and the whole society. So the social media, that definitely has a part to play, man. Like, you'll post a video online, and although I always advocate don't listen to this stuff here, but you post a video online, people hate on you, like, what are you doing? But I'm not trying to brand. I remember I'm not trying to brand. People ask you, awesome. I was at 17. People are asking, awesome, what are you doing, man? Like, you're not to launch a brand, like, what are you doing? The same for you, etc. Like, because I launched a fashion brand before. I feel like now it's a bit more normalized to launch fashion brands. But when I launched it, nobody was doing it. So the people saying, awesome, what are you doing, this and that. So society, social media, parents as well. I know parents that want to be footballers, and then they kind of, force their kids going that route. Parents have a part to play, because parents, in the day, we love our parents, but they're not perfect either. You can't. And I feel like that's one of the things we realize about parents, like that. You can love them, but understand that they're only humans too. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a whole package from the school, the parents, and society, definitely, man. And it's all about you going from within and breaking free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the key thing I want to take from what you just said there is about the teacher saying that his dream job was to be a film director. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you said to him, it's not too late. But then he said, whatever. That is crazy.
Whatever. Not like that. Not in a rude way, yeah. But he said it in like a way, like he laughed, innit? Like he laughed, like saying, "Oh, thanks."
He doesn't believe himself in it because he doesn't believe.
Yeah, no, he said he didn't believe himself, but it wasn't me. He wasn't read about it, but he literally said it in a way like, yeah, like. I need something like here around to whisper my ear constantly, whatever. Like, he kind of just laughed off. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think, and this is what I tell people a lot, because a lot of people even listen to this podcast say to me, Jonas, man, I wish I heard something like this when I was younger, because it's too late for me. And I'm like, do you know how old the guy who founded KFC was? He was like, what was he, 66? He got rejected over 1,000 times.
I need to jump in here, bro. I swear down. This is something that I preach all the time, bro. One of my favorite people in the world is a guy called Gary Vee. His words, exactly, and I couldn't agree more. You could do everything wrong until the age of 30 and still live a great life. I'm gonna say that again. You can do everything wrong until the age of 30 and still live a great life. People got a terrible relationship with time. Like, it's kids that I mentor. One boy that I mentor is that one boy until 17 years old. I tell him, you're not 17, your man is 13. Like, you can literally do so much wrong at 30 and live a great life. You can F up until 40 and live a great life. You know what I'm saying? So for like when people understand the fact that you can literally do anything wrong, wake up as a 30-year-old man, and live an amazing life. Rick Ross, I've read so many books. Rick Ross, I've read his book. Yeah. You see Rick Ross, the fancy cars, the lovely, beautiful home. He was broke until he was 30. Like, I've read his book. His words, not mine. I've read his book. He was broke until he was 30. The week before he got his big break, he was in prison. Do you know why he was in prison? Because he got booked in for shows. You know them little shows you get like £100 for. He was too broke to pay for a hotel, so he drove home drunk. He drove home drunk and crashed his car. They locked him up. So a week before he got a big break, at 30 years old, he was in prison because he couldn't afford to get a hotel ticket. A week later, he got a big break. He was 30. Some of you are 19, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and you think it's too late. When someone like Rick Ross didn't get picked was 30. That life is short, but it's also long, man. Like Gary Vee is 40 something years old, and he still feels as young as ever. I don't know what people think that your life's gonna end at 50. My dad's one of my biggest idols. He bought a G-Wagon last year, and he's like 56. When he bought that G-Wagon, yeah, I don't think he was thinking in his head, yeah, oh, I wish I got this 30 years old earlier. He's thinking, I'm so grateful I got this in my possession. The people need to face relationship with time and understand that they can do 80 long until 30, and you still live a great life, and you don't need to have it all figured out at the age of early 20. Like, this is the age we're meant to make mistakes, we're meant to learn. I'm saying life is long. Like, you've got another 40, 50, 60 years in this. Why do you need to rush it all now?
Word, man, words. And like, just that, obviously, I could tell that definitely I could tell you feel that. You feel that. You believe it deeply in your soul. And you have both a business and a personal development brand. And let me just ask you, is that what your clothing brand and or personal brand stand for? That whole thing of you have time in your life, just be hopeful and just try to obviously stand out, because obviously your clothing line is going to stand out, LDN. So
it's crazy because in a way, yes and no. Like, the reason, just to go into one stand out, the reason I started at 17 years old. Like, I've always been into fashion. I've always felt like I stood out. Like I said, I've always been like, I was always the class clown in school. I've always been different to everyone in school, which is why I probably got treated different by teachers, which is probably why I didn't get diagnosed with dyslexia until I was 19, because they thought, oh, Yuchi's outgoing, he's this, he's that, like, there's probably nothing wrong with him, kind of thing, innit? So, like, because I was always outgoing, guy, I always stood out. My year 11 prom, I wore an all-white suit to my year 11 prom. To my year 13 prom, I'm Nigerian heritage, so I wore like an all Nigerian attire to my year 13 prom. Like, I've always like stood out in it, and I feel like with the fashion industry, there wasn't a lot of brands with a meaning behind it, like a strong, powerful meaning. I feel like there was great brands with nice designs, but I feel like there wasn't really a brand with a message behind it. Especially now in this time more than ever, where there's a lot of insecurity, people are battling things. I feel like it's important now we bring out positive messages. So I wanted a brand that was fashionable, but also something like present a positive message, which is want to stand out. So, and because that kind of reflects me and what I've said for my whole lifetime, I've always said that. Even now, like, if you see my social media, I post positively to everybody else. Like, I still act differently. I dress, I'm wearing pink. I'm saying, so the brand values of want to stand out more to empowerment, to wear what you're wearing and feel empowered in what you're wearing, to not be afraid to be you, to stand out and be yourself. So that's kind of the brand values, and the personal brand kind of came after that. So I never really was active in person. I didn't really see the point of personal brand. I just used it, to look cute on Instagram, whatever. But it only went until I literally discovered Gary Vee, and I read this book, Crushing It by Gary Vee, and he kind of highlighted to me the importance of how a personal brand can actually help elevate your business, kind of thing. So when I read that book and I saw the potential, I'm all about like when I see something that new, I love trying things out, seeing how it goes. So when I read this book, I invested heavily into my personal brand, and you have this personal brand allows you to get leverage and other opportunities. So I launched a newsletter today. Me having a strong personal brand is what allowed me to launch a newsletter and hopefully get subscribers. You know what I'm saying? So business brand came after. When I discovered the benefits of having a personal brand, that's when I really went down that path. And in terms of my ethics of my personal brand, it's more to do with the fact that just me, like just my opinions, my perspectives, and just adding as much value as possible.
Word, man, word. That's what it's all about. And that Gary Vee guy, obviously, he's a legend. We both know it. He's a legend. Like, he's even changed my perspective on things as well, especially because I found out about him about mid-2019, but because he was swearing all the time, I was like, nah, man, I can't be asked, man. But then, like, I think in 2020, it was not lockdown. I was listening to his podcast, and I was like, nah, my man's sick. This guy's sick, This guy's sick. So I just started doing what he was saying, innit? And my life improved. And I think a lot of people, I know myself, say they don't like Gary Vee because he swears, but sometimes you have to actually take that out of a person and actually listen to what they're truly saying. Because personally, now I didn't have a problem with him swearing. I couldn't care less. But when I was younger, I was a bit like, I don't want to be hearing this all the time, because I was trying to change the way I was. But in reality, he has a strong personal brand because he's being himself. You don't usually see people like him swearing and stuff like that and doing what he does. But he does it. And people know who Gary Vee is. If I heard Gary Vee's voice on the street, I know it'd be him, because he's so distinctive with what he does. and he generally wants to help people. He goes out and talks to so many people. He doesn't need to do all that. He doesn't need to do everything he does, but he does it. And that's what a strong personal brand is like. Would you agree with that?
100%, bro. Like, bro, the best way to build a personal brand is just be authentic yourself. That's how you produce the best content. Like, if you're trying to be somebody else, it's gonna be really, really hard after a few years to produce content because his content is just himself. It becomes a lot easier. And it's really interesting what you raised in terms of Gary Vee. I feel like a lot of people had the same kind of perspective. I feel like people really had it with me and you. I'm saying when you come across somebody so different, so outgoing, you automatically just resent them. Like, I remember a lot of people didn't like me at first because I feel like because people thought I was arrogant or this and that because I was just confident. I believed in myself. I let myself doubt. Like when you're different in society, people turn to like look at you funny. I'm saying like maybe like another example with Jesus. Like if Jesus was so different, he was adding so much value. Like people just automatically become hateful for it. And maybe it's because it puts a mirror on them. Like it's like a mirror to them. Yeah, you in your kind of radiance, mirror to them to make them feel like they're not doing enough or like they could do more. And because of that, it's easier to blame somebody else here to look within themselves and blame themselves in it. So this is probably why people like you, him, and us, you know, people don't really like drift towards them straight away. But another thing that I kind of want to think about as well is even the swearing thing. So he even posted a video the other day, which I kind of like you know connect with, and he said that they asked him like, "Do you swear from your kids?" And he said, "Yeah." Then can I swear on a podcast, by the way, or was that not allowed?
Yeah, man, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, so like just a good example. Yeah, so he so they asked him, "Do you swear on your kids?" And he said, "Yeah, I do." And the woman was like, "Why do you do that?" And because that's who I am. That's authentic to me. They said that when he, for example, yeah, when he comes to caring about something, like in his brain just thinks of I don't give a fuck about it. He doesn't think I don't care about it. His brain just goes to I don't give a fuck about it. That's just how his brain works. You know what I'm saying? And him swearing, yeah, that's what him being whatever. That's just him being authentic. That's just him speaking how his brain works. If he didn't swear and he tried to you know please the audience whatever and didn't swear, that's him not being authentic to himself. He said he'd rather be authentic to himself yet and say what he really wanted to say or say how he really feels, how his brain really works, then try and shy away from that and try and share an image that of who he isn't, of who he isn't, which isn't sustainable. Then he asked him, but you think that's a problem that your kids start to learn to swear? And he said no. And if you think about it, yeah, in society you don't really want your kids to swear like in the day, but if you really deep it, he said it's not a problem because in the day the same person that's telling him that's a problem to swear is the same person that told him that he couldn't be what he is today. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing the same thing that people see as a problem in his brain isn't a problem. His problem is as kid get self-worth, as his kid has self-awareness, as kid is respectful, as kid has good social skills, as kid has good confidence. Those to him are problems, not whether or not he swears or not. You know what I'm saying? And the same people that told him he couldn't be where he is because of who he is are the same people that tell him he can't swear. So he's saying that he doesn't really care about what those people say because those are the same people that told him that he couldn't be what he is today. And he's more concerned about the real issues like, is my kid confident? Does he have self-awareness? Is he respectful? You know what I'm saying? Has good morals, good ethics.
Exactly, man. And this is what I was, even a couple of years ago, I was chatting to one of my friends about the whole concept of swear words, and it's so stupid. Like, someone just sees some of the words that are swears and think, oh, that sounds pretty rude. I'm like, that should be a bad word that you shouldn't say. It's just a word, but it's the meaning behind it. In its meaning behind it, it's so weird to me. And although I'm someone that wants to stop swearing, right? Because when you get to, I don't care what anyone says, when you get to secondary school, most people get swearing issues when you get to secondary school. I've seen it myself. Even me, mine started like in primary school. People swearing in my school, to be honest. People swearing from primary school, but that's normal, to be honest, in London for me, to be honest. And to be real with you, I look at swearers and I just think it's such a stupid concept, but it's just there. It's just one of the things that are there, and I don't think it makes anyone less of a person because they swear, because somebody could not swear at all but be a terrible person, but then somebody else could swear all the time. They're the ones that are selfless. So a lot of people judge a book by its cover, and that's what I was doing when I first heard him. But obviously I'm lucky that I said I'm still going to listen to what he says because it's paid off.
I feel like that's the issue of this generation. I feel like we're too focused on things that don't actually matter. Like how many likes you get. I'm echoing a little bit. No, it's cool now. But yeah, like how many likes you get. Like people post a photo, if you don't get some likes or delete it. Like is that really what we're worrying about? Like Gary Vee, he swear like Gary Vee provides so much value to so many people. He changed millions and millions of lives, including us twos. Yeah, we're concerned about him swearing. Like, I feel like in this generation, we're too concerned about things that don't actually matter. And we need to get back to things that actually do matter so we can actually progress.
Word, man. That's the word exactly, and that's the thing. That's why, even on my other Instagram account where I used to post pictures, I don't care about my likes. Honestly, I honestly don't.
100%.
People say to me, people don't know I've gone to this account now, and this because on my other account that's just for leisure. I follow all the meme pages and stuff. On this account, I follow proper stuff, and I still follow NBA and obviously Arsenal because I'm an Arsenal. Are you an Arsenal fan?
Liverpool fan.
Okay, cool. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. If you were Man United, then there would be an issue. But
Yeah,
not Man United. That's cool. So I follow Arsenal and they give me stress and everything, but it's cool. It's cool because I don't play for the team, so I don't really care that much. People can call me a fake fan, but I'm not gonna get upset because we drew with Fulham today. I don't care.
Yeah.
But on my other account, people will say to me, Jonas, your following's gone down since college, man. What? 2 years and you've lost 300, 400 followers. I don't care. Because look at my other account. The following's gone up that much.
Yeah.
So who cares? That's the thing. And even when I don't get, because there are posts where I look at and I'm like, well, I didn't perform how I thought it would. But I'm like, I don't care actually. Because the 10 people that did like it clearly gained value from it. That's how I think of it, man.
Honestly, bro, like you don't. I don't know if it opens kind of worms to me, bro. Because I literally had this conversation today with my friends, and you just open a kind of worms inside me that like it's frustrating. Like so, what was the first thing to say? I can't remember the first thing I was an attack on your point in terms of the social media aspect of it, but in terms of likes. But what I was gonna say is how little. Oh yeah, no, I remember now. So I've got a friend. You can call me critical. I've got a friend called Tammy. He's one of my closest friends. And she's always sending me photos of she's like, oh yeah, do you like this? You could call this extreme in it, but she sent me photos of herself saying, oh, I'm Uche Austin, should I post this? Like, do you like it? And I say, I'm not telling you, Tammy, like if you like it, yeah, you post it. But I'm trying to teach you not to rely on other people's opinions to validate yourself, kind of thing. Like if you like the photo, just post it. Like, with me, yeah, I don't ask people like whether or not you like the photo. I just post it because in the day, like as long as I like it, that's all that matters. And when you get tied into people, ask people, do you like the photo first? Then they say no. You're then vulnerable to people to not get any likes. But if you're posting it, yeah, because you like the photo, that's all you care about, and the likes are bonus, then you're no longer vulnerable. The second one I don't like yet is even the follower thing. Followers don't matter. Like I was saying to my friend, like followers do matter, but they don't matter. If you've got a strong personal brand, yeah, they matter. But followers don't automatically like. Right now we live in a time here where a lot of influencers do not have influence. Like you've got what 800 followers, yeah. I don't know how many followers you've got, but you might have say for example you got 800 followers, but you probably got more influence than somebody with 100,000 followers or 5,000 followers because followers is not count to influence. My friend Erica, she's amazing. That she just dropped a petition to abolish basically with sexual assault. You've got 6 months you've only got 6 months. The victim only has 6 months to go to the police. Otherwise, like the case is no. So they're trying to abolish that rule and make it a bit longer. And she started a petition. This girl has got 50,000 signatures. 50,000. And she's only got about 500 followers on her social media. And that goes to show that followers do not create the influence. So you also wrap some of the followers here when it doesn't really matter. Like you can have 100 followers, 100 followers, but it's better to have 100 followers that really, really connect with you, resonate with you, than 200,000 who don't really care about you. You know what I'm saying? It's better to have a strong, good tribe of followers than some that don't care about you. And when people don't follow you, that's a good thing because that's somebody that doesn't connect to your personal brand or your brand anyway. You don't want people following you and don't represent the brand. Like even my newsletter, I did a 99p charge, not because I want to make money, but because I only want people subscribing to it, yeah, that actually want to see the content. There's no point in making that, you know what I'm saying? So it's a thing where like, it's quality beats quantity all day of the week. And it's better to have smart followers with a tribe of people that really connect to you, really want to see your content, than a large amount of followers with people that don't really care about you.
Word, man, word. And just thinking on that, yeah, and thinking about having influence, do you think that in 150 years' time, people will be talking about you, Austin?
Yeah. That's my goal in life, like legacy. That's what it all means to me, legacy, man. Like I feel like I did philosophy in school, and this is one thing that my teacher said to me that it's honestly stuck with me for all my life. And philosophy, if you study philosophy, is proper deep type shit like that. They make you think about some deep stuff. And one thing he said to me is that you made this life seem so simple and so like small and so scary. Like he said, technically speaking, when I die, and everybody that knows me dies, all my Facebook friends, all my Instagram followers, when I die and everybody that's ever known me dies also, it'll be like I never existed. So because everybody that's ever known me has died also. So if I die and everybody that's ever known me has died, there's no mental recollection of me because everybody that's ever known me has died as well. So it'll literally be as though I never existed. And when he said that, I said, damn, like, that's at least something that's gonna live longer than me for me to be remembered. I'll just go out of existence. Like a lot of people that do unfortunately pass away, when everyone that knows that person, when they pass away also, that person technically never existed. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when I heard that, and I really thought, like, especially when I see, I'm from Nigeria, seeing the amount of work needs to be done back home in Africa and all that kind of stuff, it's like, I really want to leave a legacy and an impact. And I hope people are speaking about me in 150 years' time, because it means that I left my mark on the world and I helped a lot of people.
That's exactly it, bro. That's exactly it. 100%, man. 100%. And I love the confidence, because a lot of people would say, oh, Austin's cocky. How's he saying that in 150 years people are going to be talking about him? But there's nothing wrong with being confident. And I think that's why a lot of people don't reach their potential, because they're too scared about coming across as arrogant. And although, yes, we want to be humble, that is a goal. Being humble is a goal, but you can't be too concerned about it. Sometimes you just need to speak stuff into existence.
I understand, like, sorry, go on, Jonas.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that. And this made me proud, man. I could have shed a tear today, because I was chatting to one of my friends who, this guy, me and him have been tight for a while, and he was in top set when we were in school, and I was in bottom set. And he was helping me with my revision, so I appreciate that, because he didn't need to do that. And he used to always say, because he's in uni, but I'm obviously self-employed, innit? I'm an entrepreneur. So I said to him, like, just randomly, like, I said to him something, and he must have been like, oh, don't get cocky, don't get arrogant. I was like, mate, it's speaking it into existence, man. I don't actually mean it. I'm just saying sometimes I have to affirm stuff to myself that's not like, I have to say to myself, I am a king. I'm not a king, but I am a king, because mentally I'm a king. That's how that stuff like that.
I think belief is a fundamental part of it. Like, I feel like before you can achieve anything, if you don't believe you can achieve it, you'll never get there, bro. Like, one quote that I really love here is, people say, yeah, I'll believe when I see it. I believe in, I see it as, you see it because you believe it. You'll see it when you believe it. People say, I'll see it when I believe it. You'll see it. So people say, yeah, I believe it when I see it. No, you'll see it when you believe it. That's the key. And in a day, like, that's the fundamental piece for everything. And even the whole arrogance stuff and cocky stuff, don't get me wrong, there definitely is levels to it. But it's like, would you rather me say no? You're asking me, you're basically asking me, do I want to cease to exist? And you want to respond to that with no, because I'm scared that you're going to call me cocky. Like, people say to you, oh, like, Austin, like, do you think you're funny? Do you think you're attractive? Do you think you're this? I meant to say no. I meant to put myself down. Like, we live in a society now, where if you don't put yourself down, it's seen as cocky. So you'd rather me say I'm ugly. You'd rather say I'm not funny. You'd rather say I won't live a legacy. Like, that's crazy. Like, why would you rather me say that than the opposite? I feel like that there is a real issue, whereas you can't big yourself up without coming across as cocky, when in reality, you should be praising people that are able, especially in a society like this, where there's so much judgment. We should be praising people that are able to stand on their own 2 feet, and believe in themselves and say nice things about themselves.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's the thing. Exactly what you said. When you said this, you exactly said what I was thinking. Am I supposed to put myself down? Am I supposed to have to say I'm rubbish? Am I supposed to say I'm ugly? Am I supposed to say I'm gonna be broke and I'm not gonna do anything with my life? Am I meant to say that? Can I not say that I'm going to make impact? Because I know I will. And I want to say this, not so I'm bigging myself up, but so you believe that you can too. So I'm actually being selfless by saying that. Because if you're around me, so like, this is what I believe fundamentally. If you are around somebody with influence, your life will get better.
100%.
I believe it 100%. And a lot of people would say, oh man, but what do you mean? It's true though. There's a reason that the law of association means that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Because if you're with drug dealers all the time, no, I'm not trying to diss drug dealers or anything. I don't rate it, obviously, but I'm not trying to diss you, man, because I know you guys got to make some money. But if you're with 5 drug dealers, you're going to become the 6th drug dealer. If you're with 5 millionaires, you're going to become the 6th millionaire. It's simple.
That's key, man. Your circle is facts, man. Like, even you said, yeah, there's even statistical evidence of that you make. I don't know the exact stat, I don't want to butcher it, but you make within, like, I think, like 10% of the people, of the 5 close people around you, that's how much income you make. So there's even statistical evidence about what you're saying as well. So, and I feel like it's why I tell my friends, circle's so important, man, because energy obviously can't be made destroyed yet, but you lose energy. You only have a certain amount of energy all day. If you're giving energy to all the negative stuff, it's going to be of detriment to you. That's why you want to circle people that don't suck energy out of you, that in the day, give you more energy, kind of uplift you. And I feel like it's easy for me to have a lot more self-confidence, self-awareness here, because of people I'm around. When I was in school, and people, because what a lot of people do, people can relate, they put you down by by joking. Like they'll do a joke, like they'll banter you. You know what I'm saying? They'll banter you, which happens a lot. And when you're not around those people anymore, you're around people that generally accept you for you being confident in you for who you are. It's a lot easier to be, to be confident and to say these kind of things about yourself. So it's only if you're not able yet to big yourself up, because your friends have put you down for it, or you say I for it, you need new friends. That's the reality of it. So your circle is definitely a big part to play in, in terms of my self-worth and my self belief.
Word, man, word, definitely 100%, man. And now moving into the first segment of the podcast, I want to do a would you rather with you.
Okay, cool.
There's definitely stuff I want to pick your brain on that we have mentioned already, but I want to go deeper into. So the first would you rather question is, would you rather blow up through, so using as a vehicle to obviously get to where you want to be in the future, would you rather blow up through your clothing line or personal brands?
It's we literally debate about this, like my clubhouse room last week. By the way, we do weekly clubhouse rooms on the Gen Z Club. Follow me in Austin Okolo, Austin Okolo. We do weekly discussions, and we actually spoke about personal brand and business brand. And it was interesting, man, because the debate was personal business. Some people did say personal, some people said business. Argument personal is more authentic, is more like to get sales, all that kind of stuff. If I had to pick one, I would say personal, man. Because at the end of the day, I feel like personal gives me more leverage to do other things. So if I got a strong personal brand, I can start a fashion brand, I can start a newsletter, I can start a tech company kind of thing. Whereas if we've got just a business brand, you're more tied down to that one brand, and if that goes bust, then nobody really knows you. Do you think that's a bit of a lie? Because you do get some credibility from being the owner. People be like, oh yeah, he built that company, so he can build that one. So in the business kind of world, you do get more credibility. But I feel like because I love people so much, I love adding value so much, I generally even feel like this year I enjoy the fact that even one person listened to this year and I've helped change the perspective. I enjoy that stuff in it. So I would choose personal the fact that I like keeping value and I feel like it's more leverageable.
Cool, man. Cool. 100%, man. And make sure you follow the Gen Z Club on Clubhouse, because I've been in a couple of rooms and it's amazing. So
Thank
guys, keep it up, man. Keep it up. I need to come more. I'm usually busy on Thursdays, but
you do, man. I don't see you enough in there.
Yeah, man. I need to come in more. Yeah. And the next one is, and this is going to be interesting, would you rather have more time or more money?
More time each day of the week, man. Like, what's the point of having more money if you can't even use it, do things you love? Like my dream, I want to travel the world, and I feel like end of the day, like we're gonna die one day, and I'll be gutted if I leave the earth not seeing some of the beautiful parts of the earth. You know what I'm saying? I want to see as much of the earth as possible. And so, what's the point of having money if you can't spend it? Like, we're just gonna send your bank up. Money in itself isn't the means to the end. Money is a means to get freedom, to achieve what you want to achieve. Like, have all this money, you can drive a nicer cars. What's the point of having all these cars if you can't drive them? So I would choose time every day of the week, man, because that's actually about not money. Money is man-made, and anything man-made isn't perfect.
100%, man, 100%. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people, and this is why I had when I was doing the Let's Talk Facts debate on my Instagram live last year. One of the topics was being money motivated, because I used to always see all these people that they don't have millionaire habits. I'm gonna say it point blank. Period. They don't have millionaire habits. So they're always saying money first. Get money, secure the bag. And I'm like, mate, like, you ain't securing no bag through doing bank firstly, because you're gonna get caught. You're not securing the bag by playing PlayStation 24/7. And I play PlayStation. I do play PlayStation, but I do it on Saturdays and I only do 2 hours. Then I come off.
Of course, And
that's a Saturday, and I limit myself.
You need that escapism anyway.
Exactly, 100%. Like, I don't. This is the thing also, because Poku Banks said this in a reel the other day. He said,
"Shout out Poku Banks."
Yeah, shout out Poku Banks. Yeah, he said, what did he say? He basically said, I'm gonna round up what he said, but he basically said that you need to actually do certain things. I might be saying this completely wrong, but I think he said that some people, so-called financial experts, say you can't be doing this, that, and the other, when really rich people do that. So they act like rich people don't watch TV.
Yeah, I saw it every day.
Jay-Z, who's a billionaire, he said he watches TV. But so many people say you can't watch. I understand binging is too far, but like one episode a day, 2 episodes a day, why not?
I feel like I've got good friend with Toby, and he gave me a really good argument. It's like you work hard, so you can have free time. That's the whole point in it. Like you work hard, you hustle, so you can do the things that you do want. Like you don't hustle to not watch TV. You hustle so you're able to watch TV, and it's not detrimental to you. So that's the key. Like, you're hustling to get the free time, not hustling to have no life.
Exactly, man. 100%. And leading on to that, another thing that can actually add to getting free time, and people don't understand is an investment, or is reading books and doing online courses. So my final would you rather question for you, Austin, is, and I know what you're going to choose, but I'm going to do it regardless. Would you rather only be able to read books or only be able to do online courses?
Obviously, basically, this is the great segue for something called self-awareness, man. Like, I would love to sit here and say, you know, everyone should read the books here, subscribe to my newsletter, but indeed, that's just not the reality of things, man. Like, it's about self-awareness, man. Like, me personally, I would choose books because I genuinely love reading, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, of course, I do courses, but I feel like courses aren't, they're usually nowhere near in depth. The reason why I like books, yeah, and I used to be one of the guys that used to say, yeah, oh, I don't like reading books, man. I can just watch a YouTube video. But in reality, that's what I used to say. But when you actually read a book here, the amount of detail that these authors put in their books, the amount of detail to really, really dive deep into everything, man. Like to dive deep into all your pain points, everything as well. So like you got a 300 page book here compared to a 1 hour interview or 1 hour segment on YouTube or something. Yeah, it's two different things. And that 1 hour will probably cover about 10 pages of the book. So I feel like the detail you get here from a reading a book compared to a course or a video online is so different, man. Not to mention the fact that your book's there forever. You can literally keep it. You can refer to it in a year's time. Whereas a course, like you do get your notes here, but you're not gonna gather all the information. Whereas a book, that's there forever. You know what I'm saying? So I would choose books in it, but at the end of the day, that's just me personally, and it also comes out of self-awareness, man. Like I can't sit here if you generally hate reading is not for you, and you really have seen results from courses, and I can't sit here and say you shouldn't do that. Me personally, I'll choose books, but it's about down to the person and self-awareness. But one thing I will say is there's a lot more depth in reading books.
Exactly, and I agree with you, man, because for me, reading, people don't understand reading can actually help you to manage your stress and relieve your stress more. It can help you with many things to do with the brain waves in your brain and everything like that. But online courses is just, I don't really engage with online courses as much. That's just not me. I agree with you with the books point 100%. And even when I first started reading, I don't know, you may be able to agree with this, but because I didn't like reading just like you, I read 3 books, which were obviously How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad Poor Dad, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I think everyone that starts reading books, and I may be wrong, but most people, I'll say, start off by reading at least one of those 3 books.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that's first books was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
And then I'm Think and Grow Rich.
Exactly.
Think and Grow Rich, yeah.
100%. And because I didn't have the reader's brain back in 2019, I couldn't pick up everything. And I look back at my book, I look at my book notes now, and I've got like 200 notes per book. But back then I had like 60 notes. So now I'm like, okay, cool, I gotta go back over that now because I'm about to get hella from those books, because those books are held like the godfather of all books. And I only got 60 points from that. But these underrated books I'm getting 200 from. So it's either these underrated books just aren't spoken about enough, which is true. But these books, I know I can get more than 60 points on it.
Yeah. I 100% agree, man. And that's the thing, that's the beauty of it. If it's on that course, to be fair, some are recorded, yeah, but most of them, like, you can't really go back and rewatch them. And if you can, there isn't much detail. But you said you got 200 points from that's ridiculous, man. Like, no video is giving you 200 points to get. I'm saying that, and you're even able to go back to it. Because even books here, there's certain things in my book might say here that in that moment you might understand because of the level you're at. But as you progress here, what the books make a lot more sense to you at a higher level. So never to go back here and go over it is very, very beneficial. And yeah, if I'm being honest with me personally, like my first book, I loved it. Like I got kicked the book by somebody that I really look up to called Kubi Springer, and she was, you know, a brand expert, and she gave me my first book. And obviously, because I got my own brand, that book was really, really helpful. Because me, I feel like one thing about me is I love learning. Like I'm addicted to learning, and that's what I enjoy, learning new things. Like if you told me something cool right now about animals, yeah, I'll be like, wow, like I would love it. Like if you look at my TikTok, I follow animals, I follow doctors, I follow medics, like, I follow all sorts. I like learning, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I love books so much, yeah, I love to sit down with highly effective people, man. I love doing things here that can help benefit my life and help improve myself. That's just what I love in it. And that set habits high effective people really, really took me to the next level. So I just love learning and, you know, growing as a person. That's why I love reading.
100%. And that book, for me, that was a hard read as well because it's long and you have to properly be fully focused on that one.
Yeah.
You have to be fully focused on that one because there were some things that happened and I was like, no, I got to read the page again.
Yeah.
I didn't fully deep what my man just said. So yeah, that's the thing with books as well. With online courses, I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. Type it down. Books, I'm like, no, let me read that. Yeah, I got to take that in proper. Sometimes I have to just get my phone and be like, no, I got to post this still because this is a bit mad still.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The online courses
crazy though.
Online courses aren't making
100%.
me do that.
Will you say that again?
Online courses aren't making me get my phone out and take videos and pictures. But books, I'm
100%,
getting
man.
out.
100%, bro. Like, even, bro, it's weird because I loved habitatif. Like, for me, that was a difficult read, you know. Like, obviously, apart from the sex side of things, but I was actually engaged. I was engrossed in it because I learned so much, and I said I love learning, and just like all my days. That's so true. Like, reading a book, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's so true, man. That's such a good point. That's what I live off, man. That's what I live for. So I enjoyed that book because there's so much in that book. You know, literally, I thought, yeah, I can apply that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's so true, man. That's such a good point. I'm saying.
Yeah, man, 100%, man, 100%. And now that we finished with that segment, I want to go back now because you mentioned giving back to Africa and the Caribbean. And this is a similar goal that I have actually. And quite a few of my friends, we all say that we want to give back to Africa and Caribbean. So what are your opinions on giving back to the community? And do you, well, you already said that you feel that we should take a step forward with that and give back to our countries, but what are your opinions on giving back to your community? And why is it so important that as Black people, we give back to Africa and the Caribbean?
Because no one else can do it. Like, we can't rely on anybody else, but like, especially the Black community, man. Like, I feel like even I saw a lot of Black Lives Matter. I feel like in the day, it's great if, you know, if outside people from our community help us, that's great. But it needs to start with us, man. You know what I'm saying, and we can't rely on other people. Can't rely on other people. And but you know what, I cannot. I'm gonna leave a legacy and help people. Like, I generally love help people. I generally love people to see people do well, man. So, it's a must for me to give back to our Black community, man. It's an absolute must, man. Yeah, so my dream is actually to go back to the village my parents grew up in and build a school there which teaches trades so the community can actually have people with skills in it. Because in the day, it's important to have skills, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I want to build a school that teaches electricians, plumbing, teaching, that teaches, like, you know, like really, really good skills so the community can actually thrive. So that's my dream, to build a school in Nigeria. And that's generally like a dream of mine. Even my another dream is literally because obviously I suffer from dyslexia. I didn't realize I was dyslexic until I was 19. So I don't want people to suffer like how I suffered, where they went through the whole school life not knowing dyslexic. So I want to build a charity as well where people can like get identified at a much earlier age. Because in the day, the only people that really are going to identify are people that come from, you know, rich homes and private schools, and I don't think that's fair. I'm saying, so I want to make sure that people that do have dyslexia to get identified at a younger age, so they can then take precautions to make sure they get the best education possible. So for me, giving back is everything, man. And as that people said, yeah, like I was throw a quote, your gift is God's gift to you. What you do with that gift is your thank you to God. You know what I'm saying? So in the day, even if you're not religious or anything like that, yeah, like your gifts aren't really for you. Your gift is for other people. You know what I'm saying? So that's the key. I want to make sure, like in the day, I was given these gifts, not mine, and they're here to literally help other people, push other people.
Exactly, man, exactly. And why do you think that people don't? Well, I don't want to generalize, but why do you think there's a lot of people out there that are quite selfish with their wealth and don't decide to give back?
Interesting, man. It's weird, but even now, like the question you asked me, I couldn't explain why I want to give back. You know, like I just couldn't explain it. Like, it's just something that's in my heart. Like I just couldn't explain it. It's very hard to explain because, like, but for me, I feel like it just was your perspective of the gift. I remember I watched I listened to a podcast, great podcast called the Secrets of Success podcast, which is Eric Thomas's podcast, and there's one guy on there called Inky Johnson, and he's a very good speaker. Like, he lost his arm, like his story is crazy. Go YouTube him, and he was kind of talk about, you know, like giving back and stuff like that. Yeah. And then they were talking about how, like, they gave an example of this one boy that was giving back one time, and they asked him, Inky, like, why are you giving so much back? Like what are you looking for in return, kind of thing. He said the gift is that I'm able to give. Like, a lot of people give, yeah, in a hope that they get something in return. But the angle to look at it is the fact that we're even able to give in the first place, that's a gift. The fact that I'm able to build a school in Nigeria because I've been blessed to have that money is a gift in itself. In fact, I'm able to give is a gift, is a blessing. So I don't know why people don't want to are selfish. Maybe there's reasons, maybe there's things like battling, maybe there's something in their childhood, but in a day, at the same time, that's got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I can't force people to do anything. Like, people got their own lives, they've got their own free will, they can do whatever they want. All I know is that I want to leave as much impact as possible, and I feel like people should focus on that as well. You can't control other people. So rather than looking at him, you see a lot in our culture, not even our culture, in society, where people go on to him like, oh, he only gave £50 to charity. What have you given? You know what I'm saying? Why are you always so focused on other people? Focus on yourself. Focus on what you want to do, your achievements. Like, if people want to be selfish, that's them. That's fine. Like, they can live their life how they want to live it. But I'm gonna live my life how I'm also gonna live it. and people are too focused on other people. And maybe you got to ask yourself why you care so much about what he's doing, and why aren't you doing more?
Yeah, 100%. Again, 100%, Austin. Like you told me before this, actually, I'm ready to give the gems today, and you haven't disappointed. You haven't disappointed. So, like, let's be real, yeah. I've even been a person that's kind of looked at other people and been like, you ain't doing nothing. How come people rate you? I've done that myself, and I'm not afraid to say that because I'm not perfect. And I think that as humans, because we are interdependent and social beings, we focus way too much on what other people do. And that's what you said there with someone saying, oh, I gave this, you didn't give nothing, da 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 da. So a lot of people give to receive back when they should realize that you pay it forward to receive nothing back. But still, due to spirituality and everything about the universe, good things will still come to you, but you shouldn't do that you shouldn't do that to give back to receive. That shouldn't be it, because it's not coming from an intrinsic motivation, it's coming from extrinsic. So you want the external reward from others. You don't want the internal satisfaction of giving back. And I feel that personal development is actually something that can aid you with stuff like this. And I wanted to ask you, how and when did you start your personal development journey? Was it through books or was it through something else?
Good question. I want to say a lot earlier, because I remember, like, as I said, I want to be a professional footballer. So I did always have that. I used to train, football wise, but in terms of like the emotional awareness, yeah, I would say that's why I feel like in the day I feel like I'm blessed with a mentality. Like I feel like I'm grateful. I feel like it's through God, it's through like my life that I've been blessed with, a great mindset I have now. Like I'm not arrogant. I just feel like I've been blessed by it, I'm saying. And I feel like the only reason I have this mentality is because I've been exposed to so much, yes, like so young. So not everybody. I started my business at 17 years old. That's crazy. Like this isn't something you start at 17 years old. I feel like when I started my business, I was exposed to a different environment of people. Because a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, a lot of them, like the 5%, the people that to be entrepreneur, you gotta have good self-belief, you gotta have good self-worth, good confidence. You can't conform. Like in a day, yeah, entrepreneurship, yeah, is the minority. The majority of people live, which is nothing wrong with living 9 to 5 kind of life, in it. So a lot of people that I was exposed to here are people that weren't afraid to be themselves, weren't afraid to not conform, weren't afraid to stand out. So because I saw that at such a young age, yeah, I saw a whole new perspective to life. Because entrepreneurship is something you see in school, you're not taught in school. So when I went on the entrepreneurship route now and started my own business, I was exposed to a whole new world of people, a whole new world, a whole new environment. I was going to networking events. So I launched at 17. My brother's friend's girlfriend, she was really, really helpful to me in the beginning. She took me to meet a lot of people. So I started networking. I was going to events. Like with me, I'm a yes guy. Like even you asked me in a podcast, yeah, I said yes. I say yes to everything. I love opportunities, kind of thing. So when I first started out my business, I was saying yes to everything, man. And I feel like that's what people need to do more of. Like I feel like people don't say yes enough. People don't take enough opportunities. Like what the guy who says it, yeah. When you're building a business or you're building something, yeah, the answer is yes to everything. If it aligns with your brand and what you're trying to build, obviously you can't get distracted as well. But if it aligns with what you're building, the answer is always yes. And that's why I met people like you doing that, because I said yes to Shola. I'm saying and I feel like one thing now, not the sidetrack here, but one issue I see a lot of people have here is that they want to have the opportunity up here, but they don't want the opportunity down here. And they don't understand here that to get up here, you've got to take that opportunity. Then from that, you get enough on to this. Then this, like it's stepping stones. You don't go from here to here. You go from here to here to here to here. Perfect example. I was on Shudder's podcast. I said yes to her here. Then you met me on that podcast. Other stuff on here. Somebody else might see this podcast and think, Uch, I want you on here. The stepping stones. Before you know it, yeah, I'm speaking in front of thousands. I'm saying it's stepping stones. I feel like the people that realize, yeah, it's stepping stones. It's about taking the opportunities, no matter how small, because that opportunity then leads to the next one. So I would say I started my self-improvement journey when I started my business, because I exposed to a whole new world of people, started networking. I was being told to meditate, told to read books, all that kind of stuff. So definitely, I say maybe 17 when I was exposed to the entrepreneur side of life and people that weren't afraid to go and say it squirrel.
This is the thing, man, 100%. And I feel that with personal development, it's something that, and obviously big up to Victor as well, because Victor's a legend as well. So
shout out Victor as well, my guy.
Yeah, I was chatting to Victor last year, yeah. And obviously you met Victor way before me, because obviously you met him at a networking
event, yeah.
2018 or something like that, innit? Way before I was on the scene doing anything, back when I was in secondary school.
Yeah, like 12 years old then, yeah.
Yeah, fam. So I was chatting to him last year, and he said that when you start personal development, you become addicted. And I was like, that's 100% true.
I love
You
it.
become addicted. You can't stop. You can't stop it because you're just getting so much better that you just want to keep going on and on and
And
on.
a perfect example of that, yeah, is literally my books. Like, I read one book and I've read 50. Like, as you said, it's addictive. Like, I'm gonna read probably 50 more by the end of the year. Like, it's a nail on the head, bro.
Exactly. And let me ask you this actually as well. How did you get through so many books in a short amount of time?
Books. Let me tell you, there's one book here, Life Changer, called The Power of Habit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll bless you earlier on in my kind of book journey. That obviously with me, yeah, what I used to do, I have my phone. Whenever I hit a book recommendation, yeah, I literally just add to my notes. So I had a list of books that I wanted to read because it's recommended by people that are accessible from YouTube, from Netflix, that kind of thing. And luckily, my list number 3 was The Power of Habit. I had no clue what the book was about. But the book was literally about, you know, how you make habits, how you build habits over time, I'm saying, and how like the book was that there, yeah, is probably the best book I've ever read. Out of all the 50 years, that book is like that book, I didn't want to put it down. Like, spoke about how you build habits, how you break habits, but also spoke about like how also about how like supermarkets use your habits against you to profit off you. Like, I spoke about how Target's the Target supermarket made an extra £2.7 billion, whatever, even or £22 billion off looking at habits in pregnant women and targeting that kind of thing. Talk about how Martin Luther King used habits to help, you know, build a strong cult and, you know, and help push Black Lives Matter and the Black community. Spoke about how football coaches use habits to help to implement games. Spoke about how Starbucks use habits to help propel their business. So like, the book was just so fascinating, and that book kind of taught me how to build habits, and I kind of applied that principle of building a habit into books. So when it came to reading books, yeah, it became part of my lifestyle. Like, even though I became a gym animal last year as well because it was part of my lifestyle. Like, one thing that is one billionaire called Jesse Isler, then he said the reason why a lot of people don't see the results we want to see is because they rely on discipline. But you want to make it a lifestyle, because with discipline, yeah, it's only so we're all humans. Only someone you can go on without discipline. Eventually, that you're going to give in, and discipline will fail you. But when it's a lifestyle, don't fail you. Like brushing your teeth, you brush your teeth you don't think about it. It's a part of a lifestyle. Having a shower, you don't think about having a shower. You don't think, oh, I can't have a shower today. No, it's a part of a lifestyle. When you put your shoes on, you don't think, I'm not going to wear shoes today. It's a part of a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And you have that same principle of brush your teeth here with reading. So when I got the point of, you know, when I saw reading every single day, yeah, in the same breath as brush my teeth every single day, that's when you win. Because reading to me wasn't a discipline. It wasn't a thing I did anymore because I need to do it. It was a part of my lifestyle where I wake up every morning, yeah, pick up my book and read. Part of my lifestyle, and that's why I read so many books in such a short amount of time, because reading was a part of my lifestyle. To me, brush my teeth was, to me, reading was.
Exactly, and that's what people don't understand. They don't understand that we are our habits. That's the whole thing about addiction as well, because you can have a unhealthy addiction with things, but you can have a healthy addiction with certain things as well, because those things are good for you. But a lot of people hear the word addiction and will think a negative thing, but you can actually be addicted to good things such as reading, as you mentioned, turn it into a habit. And this is the thing, because you're right. I've never thought in my life, oh man, like I forgot to put my shoes on. Don't think of that. Don't think about putting your socks on. Don't think about putting clothes on before you go outside, because it's normal. So when you normalize meditating, reading, all this kind of stuff, you're gonna win, because that's what successful people do. And like, it's so important that you read that book early as well, man. 100%.
100%. Even, bro, on a scientific level, like, people just think I'm saying this. It's science, bro. It's how the brain. That's how habits are built. The reason why habits are built, yeah, is to make things easier. So if your brain is clocking you, you're doing everything every single day, the same thing, yeah, your brain will make a habit in your brain to save energy. That's why when you put your shoes on, yeah, you don't think in your head, oh, I'm gonna put my right shoe on, my left shoe on. You just put it on because your brain knows, yeah, that's a habit now. So rather than waste the energy on shoes on, yeah, if it's for other things. So even on a scientific level, yeah, habits are there to make your life easier. So your brain wants to create habits to make your life easier. So if you make reading a habit now, it's scientific. It's scientifically developing. It's scientifically good for your brain, because your brain wants to make habits because it preserves energy. You know what I'm saying? So don't see it as like, oh, like we're just talking out of our asses. Like, this is literally scientific. This is literally how your brain works. So these habits to help preserve energy.
A lot of things in life are actually quite difficult, and what my final question to you, Austin, is thinking in terms of habits now. How have you built juggling uni and entrepreneurship into a habit where it's not that difficult for you?
First of all, you gotta read. And you got to understand, how obviously like time management. You're not just born with time management. You're not just born with prioritizing. You got to read and understand. Like obviously maybe not read it, but you got to listen to people. You got to find out how's the best way to manage that time. So I've read books like Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I've read books like The 4 Hour Work Week, which are basically books that really touch heavily on time management. And I literally apply those principles I get from those books, and I turn into a habit. So it starts with me actually acquiring the knowledge. It's like money management. Like you don't just wake up and have money management. You got to teach yourself how to manage your money, how to manage your finances, how to budget, how to invest, all that kind of stuff. And then you turn to a habit. So the fundamental piece first, you don't just balance union, whatever. You got to understand how to. You got to educate yourself on how to. So I educate myself on how to, and maybe just a few tips that I use is first of all, you've probably read this as well, in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One tip is to plan your weeks weekly. I feel like a lot of people plan their weeks daily. And what people that plan their weeks daily find is that they run out of time all the time because 2 hours is too small a frame of time of day, because anything can happen. There could be an emergency kind of thing. There could be anything. But you plan your weeks weekly. You're working 24 hours. My maths isn't that good, but rather than working 24 hours, you're working with 7 times 24, 168 hours. You know what I'm saying? So you got a larger time scope to work with now. And then when you work with a weekly over daily, you then realize how much time you actually have available to you. So with me, I have a lot of fun. Like I got my friends a lot. Like I have a great time. Yesterday, you saw me. You might see my story. I was swimming in the pool. Like I'm a very busy guy, but also have a lot of free time. And that's based on the fact that I plan my weeks weekly, and I know that I'm able to do this little on a Monday because the rest of it will get done by Tuesday. If that makes sense, because it's weekly. When you plan daily, you end up kind of putting too much in a short amount of time, and you'll never end up finishing. That's one principle I always do, man. Plan your weeks weekly. And also, man, I feel like I just mastered the art of working smart. Like I feel like now, like I'm really good at delegating tasks and working smart. Like I've held 2 work experiences for my company, one in July, one in February. And one reason I did it one in February is because I wanted to find talented individuals that could help me, do things when I don't have time. So I've got 2 mentees I work with off that work experience that I found talented. One turned off my door. One does posters for me for my Pinterest and my Instagram, and the other one does blogs for my email marketing campaigns. So rather than me spending time to do the blogs and email marketing campaigns and the posters, which I don't have time to do, they do it for me. So that saves me a lot of time because a lot of things that I don't have time to do, they're doing it for me. Like even leveraging I had an assignment and my friend Toby's a computer scientist. Rather than me trying to work it all out by myself, I said, Toby, I need some help with my assignment, and he helped me do it because he's a computer scientist kind of thing. So it's about working smart and not hard, and understanding that things that people might be able to do better than you, or things you might have time to do, delegate. If you can delegate it. And I delegate a lot of tasks, but also I plan myself weekly, and also I understand what is worth doing and what isn't worth doing kind of thing as well.
100%, man. 100%. Again, 100%, because
and
also that was.
So maybe one final thing is wake up early. I wake up probably 6 a.m. every day. When you wake up early, like you have a lot more time. But go on.
Exactly. That as well, because I remember I told someone that I wake up at 5 in the morning, and they were looking at me like I'm crazy or something. And I was like, you don't understand how much time I have. You don't understand that I can start work at whenever I want. I start at 6:30 personally, but I prefer working it when it's quiet 100%. Because my neighbors are loud. It's loud in my house, so it's like difficult, innit? And the thing is that I remember I was told about the 4Ds by one of my guys, Lewis. Shout out to Lewis. And it stands for do. So those are tasks that you do. Delay. So these are tasks that aren't really that important. They can wait a bit longer. So you push them back a bit. Not procrastinating, but it makes sense because the stuff you need to actually do. Then there's delegate, which you mentioned, obviously. So you're giving it to somebody else that's maybe you don't have time for. In some instances, also, it's areas where they're not your specialties and someone else is better than you at it. So it makes sense to do it. And then there's delete. Stuff that's like, that's not necessary. That. Why am I doing that? So I think people definitely need to work smart, as you said too, because everyone talks about work hard. No, man. Real recognize real. It's work smart. I used to always say work hard when I was young, but then I realized working smart is the true way to be.
100% agree, man. And to be fair, you put in an element of both in it. Like if you want to be a professional footballer, you got to put in the reps. Like if you want to be a gym guy, you want to have a nice body, you got to work hard, man. Like no truth. It's even at university. I go uni, so like there's days you might do it all night, man. So there definitely is working hard, but you definitely need to work smart as well, like when you can. And so like if you pick up the 4 Hour Work Week book, it literally there's a nice little table which breaks down how you can like you see what you summarize. There's a nice little table. and it tells you what you do, what you don't do, what you delegate, and what you should do. So the 4 Hour Work Week, great book for anybody listening to pick up, and that will really help you manage your time more effectively.
100%, man, 100%. And even just before we go on to the final segment, I want to mention that I remember the main thing I remember from that book was it said leave. You know, when it's talking about things you need to stop doing, like accepting meetings without purpose, because those people try to waste your time. And you see it happen to me. There, people want to have meetings with me. Someone tried to have a meeting with me to tell me why they're canceling a meeting. I was like, what the hell? Why would I go to that? Like, what the hell?
100%.
Yeah. So, and then also it says leave, because I think, when did that book come out? It said crapberry. It said leave your crapberry in the car, ditch your crap, something like that.
I'm saying that, you know.
Oh, it must have been 010 or 09. It even said that, man.
No, but even in terms of that, like that's another principle I apply from the book as well in terms of a low information diet. Because I feel like the worst thing is you brought it up then, but I feel like now it's been worse. In terms of the information we get, like we go on our phone, it's like an overload of information. You go on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, like an overload. And that fries your brain, man. Like I was saying to my friend the other day, like it's 3 times you go on your phone, and your brain's just hurting, like your head's just hurting, like because of all the information. So with me, one thing I always practice is that I don't go on my phone at the start of the day. Like I don't go to my phone until I finish like my most important task. So if I wake up at 6:30, I probably won't go on any social media until probably about 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So like it's about, you know, not going on your phone until you get what you need to do done. But in the day, like you can live on your phone. And also another technique that this is what I mean. This is why you gotta start reading, man. Like there's so many things that this book has taught me, man. Like in terms of batching, like all the stuff here that I might have achieved, you might think is great. It hasn't come from my knowledge. Like people have been there, done that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like I've read a book here by somebody who's very, very successful. He's telling me the secret. I'm just applying it. So like that's why I love books, because in the day, it's people that have been there, done that, and he was applying the tricks. All the things that I've more told you in his podcast, all the details, it didn't come from my brain, it come from someone else's brain, and I just told it to you guys. So reading is important, man, and another thing is called batching. So you're better off here checking your emails twice a day, or check your social media twice a day, than checking it every half an hour. If you check it for 10 minutes every half an hour, if you do it every half an hour for a day, that's probably like 2 hours worth of checking. Whereas if you check it for half an hour, sorry, half an end of the day, you've literally by batching it, doing it all in one go rather than doing it in segments throughout the day, you literally save yourself so much more time.
Exactly, 100%, man, 100%. And just thinking about that and everything you said today, that's what brings us to the second and final segment of the episode. So I always ask this to everybody, and it's, what are your top 3 rules for success?
You should prepare for that one. First of all, like I don't feel like I'm successful yet. If I'm being honest, I feel like I've got a long way to go. So like anything I do say, like I would take it with a pinch of salt, but anyway, I'm not saying this because I'm some crazy successful person. Like I've got a long way to go. I'm nowhere near where I need to be. You know what I'm saying, but based off what I've maybe achieved so far, we should really speak on consistency. Like consistency, man. I feel like one rule that I apply to my life is called do it consistently or don't do it at all. That's one rule. Do it consistently or don't do it at all. And I feel like when you're trying to build anything, you've got to be consistent. Like you got to show up every single day and get to work. Like when you're building a brand, you can't just take a year off your brand and expect it to do well. If you're building a YouTube, if you're building a podcast on YouTube, you can't just go 2 months without YouTube. Especially in today's society where people are so short-minded, so the attention spans are so short. You got to constantly be in people's ear. Like I see people start a YouTube channel, and they'll jump off YouTube for like 2 months, and they'll come back like, oh guys, I'm so sorry, I'm so consistent. Like, you should be embarrassed to stay inconsistent. If this is what you really want to do and it's your dream, how dare you be inconsistent? And you're inconsistent yourself, you got people that got Netflix, you got Power, they drop every song every Sunday. So they're up here, and they're not even being consistent. But you that's down here, you're letting yourself be inconsistent. It's not good enough. So I feel like top number 1 rule is consistency. Whatever you want to do, even if it's like just a small step, you've got to do it. You've got to be consistent, or you don't do it at all. That's number 1, consistency. Number 2, mindset. I feel like without mindset, you've got nothing. Like we can sit here and give you all the kind of the tips to build on the build. I can give you all the tips to grow your social media following, do this and do that. If you ain't got that mentality, you won't apply anything, you won't learn, you won't soak it in. So I feel like invest your mindset first. Invest in yourself. I feel like that's where it all begins. Like the reason I've seen a lot of growth in all I'm doing because of the books I'm reading. The confidence, my business is everything is because of the books I'm reading. So I say number 1, consistency. Number 2, invest in yourself, invest in your mindset. But that's like the foundation. It's like you know, you're building a house, you've got the I don't know what you call it, but I'm not building it, but you've got like, you know, the foundation of what am you building it. I feel like for me the mindset is the foundation. Like you don't make £1 million you become a £1 million person, and that comes as a byproduct. You don't make £10 million, you become a £10 million person, and that's a byproduct. So you got to be that person first before you don't get what you don't get what you want. You get what you are. That's number 2. And number 3, success. Enjoy it. I say enjoy it, man, because at the end of the day, like if you don't enjoy it, then you're gonna burn out. The reason why I can go so ham on my business on personal branding because I enjoy doing it. I'm saying I can go wake up every morning and build my business at 6 a.m. whatever because I enjoy doing it. If I don't enjoy doing it, eventually I'll burn out and I'll become resentful and I hate it. So consistently invest your mindset and make sure you enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, first of all, life is short, man. You want to make sure you enjoy your life. Second of all, if you don't enjoy what you do, it's only a matter of time before you burn out and it all goes downhill.
I'm just taking that in, man. I'm just taking that in.
Put me on the spot there, though, bro.
Yeah, bro. Come on, man. Come on. Like, obviously, yeah, 100%. I've said this for every point you've said, but it's facts. If it's 100%, I've got to say it's 100% because you're right, man. Especially what you said about consistency, like power. When they were going, and they're still going to this day, to be honest. Now they've got 4 different shows coming out. It's crazy. Every week, they had us. Every week, they had a plan. They were ready for this every single week. Something was going to happen. Something big was happening. And the storyline's sick as well. So it had people invested. So the question to all of you watching is, how are you going to have people invested in you? Because these TV shows are making you addicted and binging everything. How are you going to make people binge your content? That's what I want to ask you guys. How are you going to make people binge your content? How are you going to make people sit on their phone waiting for you to post? Got anything to say on that, bro?
Bro, 100%, man, bro. You take the words out of my mouth, man. Bro, I like how you left it with a question for them to actually question it. You know what I'm saying, and the day, like, if you want to be empowered level, like this one thing I spoke to my friend about this called Tyree. You talk about this, and my friend Cuba as well gave me a good point. I think the book's called The Secret. I haven't read it yet, but it says that for you to achieve what you want to achieve, yeah, you got to already be that person. So if you want to be a professional footballer, yeah, you got to already act like one. You can't be a professional footballer without acting like one. So you got to be eating how they eat, sleeping how they eat, working how they eat. You want to be an actor, you got to act how an actor acts. You got to train like an actor acts. You want to be a boxer, you got to act like you already are a boxer. And if you want to be as big as Netflix, for example, how are you going to be as big as Netflix if you're not even doing what they're doing? Like if they're posting every single Sunday, yeah, you're posting once every 2 months. How, like, just think about it logically. How are you going to be their level? Like you got to act what you want to be. If you want to be as big as Netflix, you got to act like them. It's not good enough. Like for me, it's a fundamental. Like consistency is a fundamental. If you're not even consistent, I won't take you seriously. Like, and I feel like people. I see people come on YouTube like, oh, I'm so consistent, guys. I'm sorry. Like, you shouldn't be embarrassed to say that. Like, if I miss a week of posting on my social brands, yeah, I'm embarrassed. I'm like, sorry, guys. Like, I'm only this sorry. Like, I'm just ashamed. Like, I just want that to happen. I feel like whatever you want to get to in life here, you got to already act like you're there. Otherwise, you'll never get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't come back to what I said. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. If you're not already do what Netflix are doing, yeah, how do you expect to be as big as them? Just doesn't make logical sense.
Exactly, man. Exactly, and yeah, man. Let's let the people chill because we've given them too much today. We've given them too much. We need to let them their brains that they're getting too much gems right now. But you're definitely gonna come back on here, bro. And is there anything you'd like to say before we end the episode?
I love you. Listen, like if you were hitting this podcast right now, you're already doing the right thing. Like just by you listening to this podcast here, I know that you're gonna achieve great things because you're already putting yourself first. Think about improving yourself. Like, and it's only a matter of time, man. There's one guy I follow called Patrick Bet David, and he said it's only maths. Like if you're planting 1,000 seeds every single day, yeah, that's what 7,000 seeds in a week. That's what in a month. My maths is terrible, but 7,000 times 30. In that number of times by 365, you're planting seeds every single day, yeah. It's only a matter of time that they're all going to spread out once and you'll be overflowed with blessings. So if you're already on here and you're listening to the podcast, you're planting steps here and you're planting seeds every single day, it's a matter of time, man. As I said, you can do anything wrong until the age of 30 and still live a great life. But if you're planting seeds at 20 years old, yeah, by the time you're 30, I promise you a lot of the seeds that you're planting now will spurt. If you keep watering them by 30, it just literally logical sense. So yeah, man, I love you all, man. Keep growing, keep progressing. Be happy, enjoy life, don't think about other people's opinions. That's what the main thing holding people back. I'm gonna do a whole podcast on that. But man, yeah, man, invest in yourself and maybe just plug myself. I'm on Instagram, Austin Okolo. AUSTINOKOLO 2 O's. Clubhouse, Austin Okolo. LinkedIn, Austin Okolo. Twitter, Austin Okolo 11. Then my brand, Warrington at London, check us out. And my newsletter, if you want to be part of my subscription service, my newsletter where I give out weekly book recommendations, I give out free books. I give out, what else I give out? I'm doing book clubs, I'm going to do certain events. So if you want to be part of that, make sure you check out readwithaustin.com/readwithaustin, or just DM me, or the links in my bio on my Instagram page. So yeah, man, I love to connect with you all. I love to speak to you all. If you've got any questions, just let me know. And yeah, man, fun. Thank you, Jonas, so much for this.
Oh, thanks for coming on, bro. And guys, again, as Austin said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening as well. And guys, make sure you follow Austin and get involved in the amazing work that he's doing. Who knows? Maybe you'll be on work experience with him in the future. You never know. So guys, thank you for listening and take care.
Tell the future we can build whatever we wish to. Put your mind on the map, eyes on the prize. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.